Welcome, everybody, to our Pivot panels. I'm Leanne Presley, your host for our special sessions profiling local business owners in Chaffee, Park, and Lake County who have pivoted some part of their business during the COVID pandemic. Today, my guest is Lane Willson. She's the owner of Oveja Negra, which is a manufacturing company located in Salida, Colorado. Welcome to our show, Lane Willson.
Thank you so much for having me, Leanne. I'm happy to be here.
So Lane, I heard so many suggestions from other people to interview you when I put the word out that I was looking for businesses that had done a great job with pivoting during COVID, which for the purposes of our listeners, pivoting would mean, maybe they did something different with their business, something unique. And our goal with these pivot panels is to really share what you did with some other business owners so that maybe they can extrapolate something that will help them kind of get through the crisis. So tell us first, what happened for you during this COVID period, and how did you move your business from what it was, and tell us what it was, to what it is?
All right, so we initially, when COVID-19 started, had to make new protocol business day to day. If you're exposed, you can't come into work, things like that. And just to make everyone aware, in a manufacturing facility, it's not the product we buy and then resell like typical retail. It's the product we make. So if we don't have the people here making it, we're not making new product. So that limited our capacity. We had some people who work for the hospital and also work for us. They couldn't come to work anymore. And then shortly after we started making those small cuts, we realized we had to send everyone but owners home. So that was very devastating. We're sending our friends home who need work. We cannot manufacture our product if we don't have the people here doing so. So immediately we had to decide to take it back to a few years ago where we scaled down our production. Generally, when we make one of our products, we make 40 of them in a run for an individual sewer. And then that equates to 400 bags for all the sewers. We went to start making 10 bags at a time again. So it was kind of interesting to go back to our roots. The few owners that we did have here working have been with us for a long time, and they remember when we were small and we weren't mass producing like we are now. So we just took it back and scaled it down to lower our expenses and our material costs, but still be putting out new products so that if there were customers who were going to buy, which we didn't know we were going to have, we could still be putting out new product and keeping our inventories afloat. I would say that the whole world, locked up a little bit when everything happened, and spending, especially on luxury items like bicycle bags, halted almost to the point of $0 a day. It was extremely scary, wondering what the future of my business was. Would we ever go bike packing again? Some countries were shutting down even riding cruiser bikes and road bikes around town, much less mountain biking, because they didn't want anyone to get hurt. So that idea was very scary. So we kept working and just, I'd walk in every day with only a few of us here, trying to decide, well, what's the most important thing for me to do right now? Is it to sew bike bags? Is it to answer emails, ship out the few orders that we did have online? And we all operated under that smaller scaling back sense. Yeah, and I think that was the initial phase for us for COVID-19, was going smaller, so halting some of our large, orders of fabric that normally we'd have no problem paying for, but we weren't sure about the future. So we had to stop bringing materials in and just really look at what we did have in-house, in stock, ready to work with. Mm-hmm. And we moved from there forward.
Mm-hmm. How did you make a decision about how much to scale back? Walk me through the math on that.
Oh boy, I love math. When we had to do that, like I said, we have this whole production line. It's a really interesting process. You should come by sometime and check it out. And we looked at it as what we could produce in a day's time. When we had 15 employees here, we would pump out this many bags, approximately, depending on the style, the colors, of the bags. We looked at what we could produce in a day with that many people working. Well, if we can't have that many people, we have a third closer to a quarter of the people, we cut it down by a quarter. That was just a simple, easy equation we could do. So instead of one woman producing 30 of our seat bags in her 2 days, her next 2 days of work, we did 10 bags, 15 bags, in smaller runs like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell me how you came to the decision to pivot, where you moved from just making the bags to making masks. Is that my understanding, that you started producing masks during this whole pandemic? Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So the mask thing was a really interesting roller coaster. We initially, as soon as everything started, had masks on the mind. Because if we were making masks, we were an essential business. We could bring our team back. We could offer jobs again. We wouldn't have people stressed out about whether they were getting unemployment or the bonus with unemployment or the stimulus. And that was our main concern, is the well-being of our team. So if we can make masks, we can keep everybody working.
Right.
So not to sound too woo-woo and hippie, but we kind of put it out universally and cosmically, like, we can make masks if anybody wants us to make masks, but we didn't know what to do about that. And initially, the insurance parameters around that were very restricting. You can't make, when you buy a piece of medical something or another, it is tested and there's a lot of protocol involved. Even buying a Band-Aid, if this is not sealed, don't open it. It's bad, don't use it. So there's the same thing around mask initially. When you buy a hat, there's no insurance regulations around hats, right? Anybody can make a hat, sell it. So we were kind of working around that. We were initially reached out to by the hospital. Like I said, we kind of energetically put it out there, and the next thing you know, we get a phone call. Hi, I work at the hospital. We're running low on masks. Would you guys be willing to make masks? Absolutely. Can you work with us? Will you take on the liability so that we don't have to take on the liability? And so we got the conversation going with the hospital, and it was very interesting. There was a lot of stop, start, because there are all these regulations. And then a hospital is a business just like the rest of us, and they have to look at their bottom line and cost analysis and things like that. The hardest thing with us initially with the masks was that the hospital wanted us to make a disposable product. Going back to bike bags, our number one concern is quality, and we have a lifetime warranty on our products. And now we're supposed to make something that lasts for an hour and is thrown away. Really hard for us to wrap our brain around that, so we were trying to cut costs on the production to make them as simple as possible, but yet make them, fit and comfortable and wearable and things like that. So back and forth. Well, can you redo your prototypes? And in the end, it didn't work out. So we went dead silent. I'm definitely a motivator, and I like to get the ball rolling. I bought quite a bit of material to make the hospital mask. That is now sitting right over there collecting dust. That's okay. We tried. We were available. And if anything changed, luckily the hospital was able to get an order in, which made more sense. The machine that makes those hospital disposable masks pumps out about 3,000 a minute. We were thinking 3,000 a week maybe, and taking a huge cut financially to do that. But we were happy to do it. We wanted to fill a need. So we went dead silent. Okay, if you guys need masks, if something changed, you do run out, reach out to us. And we assessed the situation with the masks. What didn't we like about that? We didn't like the disposable part of it, and the quality side of that. And not being able to sustain it financially. I mean, that is number one in your business. You want to give to, fundraisers. You want to give to people in need. You want to help out. But if it's not financially sustainable, then you can't keep doing that. You literally can't keep doing it. So we knew we wanted to somehow energetically put it out again that, like, does anybody else want masks that aren't disposable? And the next thing you know, we get a call from public health. Can you make us reusable, washable masks? And we said, absolutely. We've already started thinking about the design. But the good part is that after all the dust settled of the initial quarantine phase, a lot of people were still riding bikes. So then our orders started coming back in again. Oh, and I'm going to plan to go on a bike packing trip and use your bags instead of going to Las Vegas because I can't. So those sales kept going. So we became in a position financially that we were able to offer our services to make masks for the public health, but yet use Oveja Negra to sustain that financially. So we did a pretty good deal for public health and decided, well, public health wants masks and they're trying to get them to people. Are there people out there willing to pay for masks? And turns out there were. So we then were able to get the public to fund masks for those in need. And we started our buy one, we give one program.
I want to ask you a little bit about this sustainability piece, because you had mentioned that the hospital deal didn't really work for you because it lacked that sustainability piece, and you were a business that was really built on quality and a long-term product. Can you speak to that just a little bit in terms of your operations?
Oh, 100% all the time. You know, that's the reason why we manufacture in the US. That's why we offer thrivable wages. That's why I am literally in this factory watching every bag that goes out, because not only do I want the sustainability of the product itself to last, less things in the landfill, you know, the whole eco side of it, but then as well, our gear is used to get people out in the middle of nowhere on their bikes. And if that bag starts falling off their bike, like, what are they going to do? That has their life in it. And that's why I started this company, and why I wanted to manufacture in the US is I spent a ton of time doing repairs and alterations, and it was amazing. You'd have a $600 tent with a busted zipper. People are like, oh, this is literal garbage now. It's like, whoa, 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 we can fix that. And 9 times out of 10, when I would do repairs for larger organizations where they bring me 20 backpacks, they'd all have the same issue. And you're like, why didn't this company just throw some extra stitches right here? That would make this product last. And of course, there's that balance, you know, you hear about planned obsolescence. Well, that keeps customers buying your product and keeps you making it. Well, we have found the opposite. We have found that someone who buys our, you know, frame bag that lasts them for years and years and years, you know, sells more products. They tell their friends, guess what? This is the last frame bag you're going to have to buy, unless you buy a new bike and you need a different size. So we've always focused on that quality. And then we believe that translates over to financial sustainability. You know, people can trust us. They rely on us. There's no spikes of like, oh, we let that slide, but maybe nobody will notice, in that worry of it. And again, that's like, with the hospital, we were totally willing and able, you know, we just wanted to solve the problem. You know, if you don't have masks, we'll stop everything and we'll make masks. We don't care if we do go out of business. If that's what's needed for the health and well-being of our community, you know, and people on the front lines, we'll do that. But just in our heart of hearts, it was so hard to be like, oh, we're going to make this so it's thrown away. And how do you balance that out, both financially and, you know, in a way that we feel comfortable with the environment? Because I promise you, if I go in for a surgery tomorrow, I hope my surgeon's wearing a brand new pair of gloves and he threw away the last pair of gloves he wore. We understand there's a time and a place for that, but it was hard to kind of mesh our old values with these other types of values.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Tell me a little bit about the direct to consumer model that you pivoted to also. Did you have a lot of behind the scenes operations adjustments that you had to make to sell directly to the consumer? Or were you already a business that was B2B and B2C?
We are. So we wholesale our bike bags to bike shops and dealers globally.
Okay.
But we do sell our products individually online. What was interesting, we did have to make some changes. Yes, we already had a website, and it was kind of funny to throw up in the middle of these bike bags a section for masks. And, oh, how do we advertise that? How do we, you know, it wasn't necessarily a marketing, but, you know, we have a lot of different prints. Here at Oveja Negra in bike bags, we offer seven different colorways of our bags, which in production, that's kind of crazy. You shouldn't do that. It's not profitable to offer 7 different colors, but we like it and it's fun, and we realize people have different personalities. So we went to the masks. We wanted masks with mustaches on them and flowers and plaid and goofy ones for kids with fairies on them and unicorns. So we wanted all that availability because that's a part of who we are, and bringing out people's personalities and the products they buy. But how do we put that on the website? Do we sell, like, oh, a drop down menu with these 70 options. So, we had to kind of do a little shifting there. The other big shift was that people weren't allowed to come into our shop because of the quarantine. Because we're making masks now, you definitely can't come into our shop and contaminate our shop. So how do we allow locals to buy our bags or buy our masks? So at first we had a free shipping option, which everybody on the internet went nuts for, that was buying bike bags in Canada. Oh, I'll take the free shipping. We're like, whoa, no, you have to pay for shipping. But the local, so we actually had to buy an app to put on our website that allowed for local pickup. We had to come up with a system to alert people when their mask was ready and where they picked it up. So it was simple, and we got through it no problem, but it was definitely like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, and at one point we were making so many masks to catch up with that online demand. And we had a good stock of our bike bags. It's an inventory based website. So we have a ton of bags in stock. We don't make to order. So we were able to kind of put the bike bags on the side for a minute and focus on masks. And one day I think somebody was like, I don't even remember what a bike bag looks like. We sold so many masks and changed our system so much to accommodate the mask. It felt kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a really funny kind of behind the scenes thing. And then deciding, like, oh, we've got to come up with a description for masks. We've got to come up with care instructions and I hate to use this word, but like idiot proofing, a product. Like everyone has to do that. You have to solve those issues where, we're so familiar with masks. We're so familiar with bike bags, but other people, it's not their world. So how can we, make it easy for them and understandable?
Mm-hmm. So like anything in business, I imagine as you were pivoting, you were having some challenges. It sounds like you had a few problems that you were trying to solve along the way. Other than the ones you just described, did you have other hurdles to overcome, or maybe even like the hospital, something that just couldn't even come to fruition and you had to give it up? Tell us about some of those challenges that you had in this phase of the pandemic and trying to pivot to a new product. What other kinds of challenges did you have?
So one challenge that I wasn't really expecting and surprised about was that so many of our bike bag customers reached out to us and said, so are you done making bike bags now? You just make masks. And we're like, no. We love bike bags. We are making bike bags. You can buy them. They're on our website. But we took that initial effort on our Instagram and Facebook to say like, hey, we have masks. Who wants a mask? And it wasn't necessarily to sell the product. Masks are not super profitable for us. We did it because it's a need that we're able to do, that we're really good at, and that we wanted to make sure that people knew they could get one. Do you need a mask? We have a buy one, give one program. Are you in need? Can you not afford one? We'll send one to you. So we spent a lot of effort to let people know that they were available and that we could donate them to your organization. After we started putting it out there, the Alamosa Homeless Shelter reached out to us. Hey, I heard you're donating masks. Can you give us masks? Absolutely. Here's a package. St. George's Food Bank up in Leadville, we did it for them, and a lot of different organizations like that. But it was great, and it was exciting, and it was something new and fun. And, here at Oveja Negra, we always try to have a super positive outlook on everything and just treat it all as an experience. Like you could get down and be like, oh, COVID-19, it's awful. It is. People are getting sick. People are dying. It is awful, but we're okay. We're healthy. And what can we do but bring positivity to the situation and lighten it up with a mustache mask, and putting that out there. But we didn't realize at first, like what kind of damage that was actually going to do to our brand, our Oveja Negra long-term. Of course, there's the overwhelming sense of support we got. You guys are great. Thanks for doing that. We appreciate it. We love you guys. But then there was that weird spot of like, so many people were like, so you guys aren't going to make bike bags anymore. And it's like, no. And those people that have supported us we've been in business 8 years now. And some of our customers from 8 years ago are still buying new bikes and need new bike bags or buy new t-shirts that we put out if they have a full setup. We're kind of wondering like, oh, are you guys done with that now? And that was a kind of we pivoted, but we brought the bike bags with us. We're still making bike bags. We're still this. It's just an addition, which again, then makes your workload, because we didn't leave anything behind. We added to it. made
Right.
our workload pretty tremendous.
Right, I imagine. So do you anticipate keeping the masks indefinitely? I guess that's the other question. No, you're
Yeah,
not going out of the bike bag business, but is this going to be now a permanent part of what Oveja Negra offers?
I don't know about permanent, but I like what you said, indefinitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea for people to wear masks when they go out in public. It can't hurt, right? That's what I
Right.
think. And if it shows respect to people who have compromised immune system, if it shows respect to business owners, which you're coming into their place, then what's wrong with wearing a mask? And so as long as there's that need, we want to make it available. And as well, if they can choose something that's locally made and supports our business, we got all of our fabric 100% from the Hodgepodge here in Salida. So another small business. The straps that we're using along the back of the head, they're made in the USA. So it's an opportunity. Like I said, the hospital mask, disposable, as cheap as, as inexpensive as possible, was really hard for us. But this speaks to us. Oh, great. We're supporting other small businesses. We're making a product that lasts. We're making a product that's fun, that's in the USA, that gives people thrivable wages here in our shop. Then we want to keep doing that. We want it to be available to people.
Mhm.
I hate to say that I would never have wanted to make masks, because I never wanted this situation to occur that we needed to make masks, but I'm happy to do it. And it will be a part of our offerings as long as it's needed.
Right. So I know there's going to be a lot of viewers of this video that are going to be wondering, well, how do I get one? So can I give you an opportunity for just a super quick plug? How would somebody go about ordering a mask from you if they wanted it?
Awesome. You can Google search Oveja Negra masks, but the website is ovejanegrabikepacking.com. The masks are listed under our apparel and our accessories in the drop-down tab with all our products. Our website's pretty simple, so it should be able to find. Once you get to the mask page, there'll be a beautiful picture of all these different fabrics that we can make masks out of, and you're going to place your order. You can choose local pickup at checkout, or you can choose to ship it. We're still shipping locally too if people don't want to leave their homes and come here. If you do choose local pickup, we have an outside bin. You'll be notified when your order is ready, and you just come to the outside bin. They're sealed up, so they're good to go. And also when you check out, you'll have the opportunity to put your first or second choice for your mask fabric. And we offer that just because turnaround time is a lot easier if we have a couple choices.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they're $14 a pop. And for every mask that everyone purchases at that $14, we're able to give a mask away to someone in need. And if you're a person in need, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to hook you up with a mask.
Awesome. That's such a great story, Lane. It's really inspirational. And I'm wondering, are you able now to have all of your full staff back at work, or are you under other restrictions that are still limiting your production capacity?
So we have brought back most of our staff. We have 2 staff members that have part-time jobs at the hospital. So because they're needed there, one is needed there so many hours, so she's literally not enough time to come back. Another one because he's exposed, can't come into our place of work because he would expose all of us. We have 2 employees that have small children and are single parents. So the homeschooling is taking up so much time. So while we're available to have our team back, they're not available to come back. So that's been kind of hard, but we did actually just hire 2 more people last week. And that was kind of crazy to think about hiring people during this time, but we were planning on already hiring 2 new people. So we did once the shop was able to be opened back up, but we are not open for retail still because we're making masks and we keep it a closed facility.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, lastly, I just want to ask for your advice. If you had someone watching right now that was another local business owner and they were stuck and they were frustrated and they were struggling, what would you tell them?
Get creative, trust your instincts. I mean, that's the lighthearted, fun way to say that, but you just got to really think about what your skill sets are and what aligns with your principles and find that unique thing. I think oftentimes as business owners, we can be overwhelmed with all the decisions we have to make every day. And when you have to make all of a sudden a new decision, It can be really hard, but I think trust your instincts, simplify it. You know, we were reached out to as, you know, can you make masks that have the loops around the ears? Ours tie. No, we can't. We're going to make a simple product that we feel fully confident in. Does it mean that other product or that other way of doing it isn't valuable? But this is what we can do, and this is what we think it's good. And so we limit ourselves. I feel like so often you get stretched thin and you say yes and you say yes. And then when you say no, it hurts to say no. But that's a part of the sustainability. You know, you have to be picky and choosy and know what's a part of your bandwidth. And, you know, then after the mask, can you make the caps? Can you make the gowns? Can you make the face shield? No, we can make this. And this is our part that we feel we can manage. Now, hopefully this doesn't happen, but if everyone were to stop buying bike bags tomorrow and we needed to create another product, we'd have that schedule open up and we'd add it in. But don't do that. Don't overtake yourself before, you know, settling one thing and moving forward with that and really nailing that. You know, I've owned a couple other businesses in my life, and I've always, when I've stepped away from those, gone, okay, what did I like and what didn't I like? What are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? And let me be perfectly honest about it. But then also beyond your strengths and weaknesses, what do you like doing? What do you not like doing? Because if you don't like doing it, you're not going to put your love and your energy into that, and you're not going to put it out there to the world in a way that's going to be well received. So focus on what your skill sets are, trust yourself, trust your customers, and trust your community.
Great advice. I love that, for sharing that with us and sharing the story of Oveja Negra. Lane Willson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Leanne. I appreciate it.